So I'm sitting outside, chair, and I'm putting rivets in these so that I can use bungees, right? So you take this flap, has a snap, and the flap isn't tall enough to cover a 30 round PMag, right? It stops like way up there. So the way I envision it is you tuck the flap, you put a piece of bungee cord through here and here, and you can use bungee retention. So each one of these pockets will hold 2 metal mags. I'm not sure about PMags. And these smaller pockets on the sides hold radios really well. So you do a radio and like maybe a smaller smoke grenade. I don't know. But I'm just gonna show you how I do this. So I've got a Leatherman, and I'm just gonna get myself a hole started in the center of this. Right, they have an awl. If you have an awl, it might work better for you. Punches.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
So I got my hole started. There's my rivet, my drill bit slides nicely. Right, so we're gonna push the drill bit through. Right, get it worked loose. You don't want a lot of extra hole around your rivet, or it's not gonna grab on right. So you can see that it's pulling some of the fuzz out, and then we'll just push it down. Put our rivet over our drill bit. Push the whole thing into place. From the back side, you can use your thumbs. Just work that rivet into the hole. Right. And then I've got this little rivet setting tool. Different dies. You can use different sizes of rivets. Right here, this is the awl for it. So it centers down and through there. So you can roll this flap. Make it slightly easier. Stick it in there. Get our rivet on the die. Put that in there, and then just double check, make sure the rivet's seated correctly in the back of the die, not just shifted. Okay. Set her down. Light taps. You can hear the sound change. It sounds less tinny, more solid, and then it's set. So now we have a rivet set in that. Now I'm just going to tuck that flap in. Not going to be using it anyway. All these flaps will get tucked. And then I will do the same thing on this part. It's a lot easier on the single layer versus the double layer back there. But I have all of these done except for this one, and then I will put some mags in it and see what we have. I don't have enough 30 round mags to fill it, but I'm working on that. This is how you modify cheap gear to work for you. This rig cost me like 25 bucks on Amazon. It has an X harness. It's hard mounted, adjustable here. Back strap, it's hard mounted. Goes on here. Adjustable, however you need it to fit. You can mess around and modify the cheap gear. If you mess it up, it's not that big of a deal. Also, if you're on a budget, this cheap gear can be totally serviceable for you if you just take the time and effort to make it the way you want it. You could even cut these flaps off if you're just straight up not going to use them. I'm leaving them on because I think with 308 mags, it might actually be able to use the flap. So I'm just going to leave it on. But this is what I'm doing today. So you're going to have to excuse my kids. They're being loud inside, but this is what I'm talking about. So I've got 2 metal mags in here, and there is some space. I think you could fit 2 P mags in here also. Probably just 1 308 mag. Then I have my bungee retention here. I don't have any pull tabs. I'm gonna go make some in a little bit, but basically what I've done is I looped it through this one and then put both of them through this one and tied it on the inside. So you could put a cord lock here, or you could bring this from the inside out as a loop, and you could put a cord lock on the outside so you can adjust on the fly. Either way, but then you could tuck this flap in and that nub isn't sticking up catching on stuff. Then you've got 1 mag. Two mags. Just like that. You can adjust that however you want. This little side pocket will fit a magazine. So theoretically you could have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 magazines on this. If you wanted to run it with mags only, you could put a small smoke grenade maybe in this smaller pocket. You could, what else could you put in there? Well, I'm going to put a radio in. So if I'm wearing just chest rig, I can radio. Boom, it's in there. I can adjust this tighter so it cinches more around the top of the radio. I can also run this with the flap. Button the flap. Oop. So there's a lot of options. What I did is I bought a bunch of this in just a bulk pack, right? I cut these forearm length, roughly, right? And so, just walk you through this one. Little thread I'm gonna have to cut. So we just go 1 through here, like that. If you wanted to add a cord lock here, you would put your cord lock on, preferably one with 2 holes, not just a single, so that it doesn't slide off the end. And then you would feed both of these through. This is 1/8 inch, and it fits these rivets perfectly. These are Kydex rivets. So you would do something like this with your cord lock on there, and it would pull up tight, boop, like that. I'm just doing one, making it set how I want it. So then you're going to take both ends, route them from back to front. That. Pull it so you get it tight. Just make a knot here. Make sure your knot's nice and tight. Pull that out. Tuck your flap. We're stowing flaps. I'm not cutting them off because I'm going to use them probably for other things. And then you could put your 2 mags in, just like that. I'm sure a pistol with a light would fit in there nice, one of these. Right, so like Glock with a X300, put it in there, bungee over the grip, back of the slide area, bam, you have a pistol on your chest rig. So there's a lot of different ways you could set this up. But I'm going to keep finishing these. They have rivets in them already. I just need to put the cordage in. I have all my cordage already cut. And then I'll maybe take some pictures, and I'll get some video of using it at a later date. So this is what I came up with. So it's a Glock with an X300 in the smaller pouch on the side. It's a little difficult to get in and out because that pouch is a little on the tight side, and the trigger is most definitely not well covered. You could probably use a minimalist holster that just covers trigger guard, throw it in there, or trigger guard in the X300, throw it in there. There's enough space, I think, for that. And you can stretch this pouch out too if you wanted, but that's there. That's a single 308 mag. You're not going to fit another one in it. 20 round metal 308 mag. Lancer, 2 of them. Nice fit, a little bit of extra room, just enough. Metal mags, radio.